The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Boyd's ATA Black Belt Academy in Marrero, Louisiana. Barreto Home Solutions. Bayou Audio and Video. Hot Works on the North Shore. JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington. Lil Dizzy's Cafe. Kuman of Gretna. HBP Construction and Consulting. Moe's Pizza. Bucks Snow Whiz. CC's Children Blocks. The Pierre Family in Lafayette, Louisiana. Leo Auto Glass. The Juber Family in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Dat Kitchen Restaurant in Chalmette, Louisiana. CoSource Financial Group.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Hash It Out Show right here on JB the Sports Guy and on all social media platforms. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a very exciting night for everybody and all over the state of Louisiana. We have the picks tonight for week number 10 and an interesting race so far for the picks championship going into week 10, and especially not just for first place, but for second and third. But we're looking forward to giving you those picks tonight, what we have in week number 10. We got a lot going on tonight. 7:25, we have some very special guests. We have Coach Ulysses Fronta, and also that he's from the Nick Network. And also we have a legendary reporter out of the Bayou, Chris Singleton, joining us tonight, as those two will be on at the same time as we will preview the Destrehan Wildcats and the Thibodaux Tigers for the district championship on Friday night. So I cannot do this alone. My partner is here with me tonight, Mr. George Peppers. What's going on, George?
Mr. VK Jones, where is the CEO plotting? Where is he?
Well, if anybody's asking, JB, the sports guy, is on assignment tonight. So I will have to do all the hosting tonight.
Picks
So
night?
picks night tonight, we're still doing
I
that
know.
also as well. So
Yeah, but he's gonna see my picks and he's gonna copycat, so I don't have to make up 7 games. That's what he's doing. The plot is thickening, sir.
yes, the plot probably is.
It is. He's
But
trying to
we'll
cheat for both of us, against
we'll
both of us.
I guess so. We'll see.
I know.
We'll see how it looks when we get to the picks
But
later
yeah,
on, right after we do the interviews. And tonight we are definitely straight up no commercials tonight. We're going straight through with it. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start it off tonight with the power rankings. We're gonna start off with the power rankings before we get to the interviews at 7:25. Um,
okay.
First of all, we talked a little bit about it, but we're gonna dip more into it right now. Looking at, we go into the selects in Division One. The top you know, you look at the top 10, especially in the top 6. This is going to be huge coming up this week, especially with the matchup between St. Augustine and John Curtis. You look at Edna Carr 1, Alexandria is 2, 3 Turlings Catholic, 4 Catholic of Baton Rouge, 5 is St. Aug, and 6 is Curtis. Now, me and JB kind of talked about this, and now we're going to ask you, since you're into the fold tonight, George, your thoughts on Curtis St. Aug. Could the winner get a big seed? Could it be top 4 or 3? What are your thoughts? Whoever wins this one, especially looking at the opponents of Alexandria, Turlins, and Catholic.
To answer you succinctly, they'll get a boost. But I was looking at projectile playoff matchups, and round 2, if St. Aug holds 5 and the team at 12 is still holding at 12, Evangel, who doesn't want to see that second round matchup potentially? Peyton Houston versus Rashawn Coulon. Both offenses average north of 45 to 50 points a game. That would be a 4 to 5 hour game. But to answer you, I think there's a little boost involved. But again, you just prefaced it by saying about the teams at front. Turlings, think they showed you they were for real last week, the way they just demonstratively wallop was St. Thomas More. Uh, Catholic seems to have righted the ship after a little sturdiness, little unsteadiness. They had a couple of games where they kind of weren't themselves. Like, looks they've gotten things right. Alexandria, I said it before the year. I said, look, they might have lost Trey Lindsay and some other pieces, but Thomas Bachman is a very good coach, VK. And this is a heck of a coaching job he's done. They've got a chance to win this district this week. They play Neville, I think,
Yes,
this week.
they had Neville
They
this
get
week.
Neville. And they can get the outright title with a win. And I want to say somebody's got to lose. I didn't see
Well,
Mike Competition.
well, the way it's looking, there's you look at it, there's a full way tie right now. 4 teams with 1 loss.
It is. And it's
So
crazy. And Mike Compage posted a scenario of how those teams could win the district outright. And, Alexandria has, I think, I don't want to say the easiest because nothing's easy in 2-5A. Nothing at all. The smoothest path for saying, Neville has been hit or miss this year. And though Alexandria, I believe they go to them this week. I mean, and I'm pretty sure that game's going to be on that docket of picks that we've got this week. You would suspect how many of those teams in front of St. Augustine can lose. Alexandria could if Neville finds a wild hair and pulls it off. Turlings, I don't remember who they play, but I think they play a team they should win. North who?
Not what is it?
North side?
North side.
Oh, North side, yeah. That's, let's call it what it is. That game's that sounds like a walkover. North side is meddling. TC has been on game this year, undefeated. I think they've shut a lot of people up. Can Senal get a jump? Yes, but is it enough? You have to look at the spread, and really, from 2 to 5, it's close. It is ridiculously close. To 6, to 6.
Right. It's really, really close with each other. I think Alexandria does have a chance to probably hold on to 2 if they win. But you look at Turlins, the only thing that's going to hurt is they're playing Northside. And
that's not a big boost game right there.
No, and with Cadillac and Baton Rouge, they might get a boost, but I don't think it's going to be the boost everybody think it is, because Zachary is 10 in the non-select. St. Aug and Curtis is 5 and 6, right on the tail. So I really think, it's, JB said the highest there, the winner of this game will probably go to number 4. I say possibly a 3 because of the fact of those 2 opponents, but we will see what happens. But it might wind up being the 4th spot for the winner of these 2 teams coming up this week. It should be a big one. Looking at it in the non-select Division 1 right quick. Ruston is still at the number 1 spot. Parkway number 2, not too far points. Neville is 3, and that is going to be interesting to see with those 3 in general. Parkway possibly an opportunity to snatch number 1. They have Evangel at home for the district championship and a chance to go undefeated. Here's the situation on that. I know Evangel will probably get a boost if they win. They don't get the district boost, but it could be good power points, especially with Parkway at 2. Your thoughts on that matchup between Evangel and Parkway, and if
It's
Parkway wins, do they snatch number 1?
who does Ruston play?
Ruston, they host.
I
Hold
think
on a minute.
Washington, not Washington.
I think I got it
Pineville,
right
I want to say.
here. Hold on, I got it.
Yeah, pull it up because I can answer your question in a preface. Um, but while you look in Parkway Evangel promises to be a salivating matchup.
West Monroe at home. West Monroe. For
Michael Dyer's going to have that team ready to go. That's going to be a top notch matchup. I think it depends on who looks the better in Parkway. And remember, they're catching an Evangel team that's angry. And how Evangel lost last week to Lafayette Christian. Geez, you should know. You need to understand, sir. That Evangel team had y'all dead to rights. If Pop Houston just dies in the end zone, ball game, y'all lose. Right? I mean, but he kind of skidded around a little bit. What?
I think when you look at the play itself, George,
Too much indecision, I think.
no, I think he tried. His intention was trying to dive and trying to get in there,
Just
but
dumb
at the
luck.
same time, not just dumb luck. That ain't no dumb luck. That's a great defensive play.
It was.
Somebody squared up.
I'm just trying to stir your
And
boy up.
right, but just don't let him get in the end zone. That's just
Oh
what it
no.
is, and that's what happened. And
But
that's fundamentals. That's big time fundamentals.
what Evangel team does Parkway get? Look,
Right.
Parkway going 9-0 this year, VK. And now, if you look at the CrescentCitySports.com polls, they're number 1 in the non-selects. They've ascended to number 1. They are legit. We saw this team, was it 2 years ago? Last year, I think, against Bellchase. We did the playoff game, the first rounder. No, 2 years ago. And they were a young team, wasn't quite at the maturation level, and now they've really ascended to the top of the throne, and they're going to potentially be number 1. If Ruston loses to West Monroe, that's a free pass for Parkway if they beat Evangel. So it's close, but again, remember how these power ratings are computed. You also have to factor teams on the schedule. Who's got the stronger district? Who's got the stronger schedule? Right? That's
Right.
kind of where you got to measure it a little bit too. And both teams have a legit claim to be number 1, but Ruston, they've lost one
The
in-state
game
game
is
this year.
the game is at Evangel. Excuse me on that
Okay, so
one.
correction,
The
it's
game's
in
at Evangel.
Shreveport.
Correction. It'll be in
Correct.
Shreveport for that one.
Okay, which it'll be an SRO crowd. That's gonna be a big crowd over there
Yes.
for that game. Lots of attention. Probably the game of the week in the northern part of Louisiana. I'm
Yes.
sure entities will be all over there hand and foot. We got some good games to pick, and that's one of them. But can Parkway get to number 1? Absolutely, they can. But they've got to beat that machine called Evangel. And yeah, Lafayette Christian did a tenacious job last week, holding them to 22 points. You know, their defense really shone that night, last Friday night. They really shined in a big way. Thursday night, they really shined in a big way. And you got to give LCA a lot of credit. But the winner of that game has an absolute legitimate claim to number 1. You can't make the argument otherwise. And anybody who makes that argument, VK, against what I'm saying, they're not watching it like we are. They really aren't.
Well, taking a look at also in that Division 1 non-select, Destrehan is 6 and Thibodaux is 11.
Hmm.
Big game between those two. If Thibodaux
No
wins the
doubt.
nation championship, they will definitely get a nice boost in the power rankings. But if Destrehan wins, in your opinion, this is the question to you, George. Does Destrehan crack the top 4?
They can. I mean, but you got to give a shout out to Thibodeau and Lowell Narcisse and the job that he has done this year. That has been yeoman's work. Coach of the year stuff, because who raise your hand if you thought Thibodeau would be playing for a district championship this week? No, you thought they would be better, but we all talk about Harnville getting closer, Terrebonne really being in the mix. But this Thibodeau team is in week 10 playing for a district championship. If Destrehan can beat them, And I don't want to hear, well, they just beat Hornville. They might let down. Let down? That don't exist in Marcus Scott's world. That ain't happening. He knows the challenge, and he knows and he respects what Thibodeau has done. But if Destrehan wins, can they get the top four? They absolutely can. They absolutely can. They're going to get a jump, and especially if the teams in their schedule, Baton Rouge Catholic, um, Hahnville and Terrebonne, if they all win, that's more booster points. And I wish they wouldn't have took away the added point for the district championship. That I thought was a fallacy that they need to correct this offseason. That needs to be corrected. I think it's lunacy that you win a district championship and there's no boost as far as a point. That's VK.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry, that's wrong.
I agree. We talked about that last night, and we
Hmm.
definitely, me and JB definitely lockstep on that. That was really huge when they took that away and really put strength of schedule really on the forefront big time when they took that
Hmm.
boost away. And I hope they kind of bring it back because
Me
I
too.
think whoever wins a district, especially a tough district, needs
Hmm.
to be rewarded. So that's just how I look at it myself. But big shout out to all the people in the chat. Continue to chat it up. Thank y'all so much for being on. And all the usual suspects that usually comes on. Thank y'all for the support. And we'll have Ulysses Fronta and also Chris Singleton in the next close to under 10 minutes. Let's talk about Division Two. Let's start with on the select side. St.
Hmm.
Charles, a chance to clinch the number one spot. Archbishop Shaw, as they take on each other. Uh, St. Charles wins, they win outright district. If Shaw wins, it'll be a three-way tie for the first place for the district championship. Now, if Archbishop Shaw wins, does they get a big boost if they beat St. Charles?
Mm, we saw them last Thursday night, VK, and they really got pushed around against a physical Bell Chase team. And kudos to you for really being on them from jump. I'll give you that kudos on this show right now, November the 5th. You made a bold salvo talking about how Bell Chase was going to give Shaw problems. Well, they did more than that. Can Shaw jump to number one? North DeSoto was in that fight too, VK. And they've already had their big mea culpa over Loyola Prep. They're going to win this week. That's not going to help them much because they're playing one of the weaker teams from that district. So I don't think North DeSoto can hold one. Strength of schedule is going to hurt them. Shaw's strength of schedule is better by far, but they got to beat St. Charles. But I feel like they got to do it in a convincing fashion, VK. I don't know if a close game sees Shaw jump to one. I feel like they got to win by at least two scores. And I don't know if they will because I saw some old ghosts come back in that game last week. The offense looked confused and really just wasn't fluid. There was no cohesiveness. But take nothing away from that defensive effort Bell Chase threw down last Thursday night. That was a sterling effort. Really got after the ball, and they dominated the trenches on both sides. But can Shaw get to number one? I feel like they got to do it a little convincing, BK. I don't think a 3-point game gets them there. I think they've got to be more. You know what I'm saying? Win by put a 2-score margin and see what happens, and then you go from there. North Dakota's going to win big, so Shaw gets there.
North
So
DeSoto
long as
is actually non-select, so
I thought they were select.
no, they're non-select.
You sure? Okay.
Loyola Prep is
Select.
select,
Oh,
and
damn.
and I ain't gonna lie, Loyola Prep, and there was a reason why I put North DeSoto at number 3. Loyola Prep is a good team, and
Very.
they're going to wreck some people in the division. I hate to say it.
When we
I
get to the
we
show.
thought it was going to be one-sided. But those people put up a fight. The game was tied at 28 at the half. And
They
for
pulled
North
away late,
Dakota to
North
have a
DeSoto.
huge, yeah, for them to put a big second half like they did, that's amazing
That's impressive.
performance because, I mean, wow. But for Loyola, they're a good team, man, and they're scary.
I know. I think they're going to be a very big problem in the playoffs. But you know what's going to be I don't want to say downfall, but the thing that kind of scares me, concerns me, they don't stop people. If they're going to be reliant on outscoring people in the playoffs, VK, you play football. You know what I'm going with this.
Yes.
You've got to be able to make stops consistently in the playoffs. and how many times teams shorten the game to keep said explosive offenses off the field. They're going to run into a matchup. How would you? Well, Loyola Prep and well, Bell Chase is not select, so that's no
Yeah.
factor. Let's say Loyola Prep runs into St. Charles, a team that notoriously plays good defense. Do they have the stalwarts defensively this year? Probably not. But a matchup like that with Wayne Stein against Loyola Prep, against that fast-paced offense, BK, that could be a matchup in a potential, excuse me, a potential matchup in the playoffs where you fancy a team like St. Charles because of their ability to make stops. Loyola's been able to outscore a lot of teams. I don't know if they could do that against a team like St. Charles. I would think in a potential matchup they would run into trouble trying to, especially if St. Charles breaks their lead and the defense starts to get some early mo. And I saw what Chiefs posted earlier, and I thought they did. Margin of victory, I thought, because of the eye test. That's why I said what I said about the eye test. You know, teams look good, teams look shaky. Um, but we'll see. I mean, we're in for a wild week 10. There's going to be a lot to decide. We got a good game, a couple of good games this week. We got one tomorrow night. It's Thomas Jefferson and golly, I just caught a brain fart. Help me
It's
out,
a,
BK.
it's you talking about, well, regardless of I think it was Thomas Jefferson and you mentioned I think it
Tomorrow
was
night.
oh yeah, Fresh Fisher. They got Fisher tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
regardless
Fisher,
of
and
the
then
fact,
Florence, the big one.
South Plaque and Newman on Friday.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's
Yep.
go ahead and get in our guests. Our special guests for tonight, and apologize a little bit for the lateness, you know what I'm saying? But we for one of our guests here, legendary reporter who's been in the bayou for a long, long time, and he has done great work over the years and everything. And he's joining us tonight to talk about Thibodaux out there in the bayou. We have Chris Singleton. How you doing, Chris?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Good,
Doing
good,
well.
good. And also our other guest that joins us tonight, legendary coach, a coach that has been in the River Parishes for a long, long time and part of the Nick Network. We have Coach Ulysses Fronta. How you doing, Coach?
Fantastic, gentlemen. How y'all making out?
We're good. We're
Doing
good.
well.
Yes, sir. We thank y'all too for joining us tonight, and we're gonna start off first with Chris on this one. My first question to you: we knew that Lowell Narcisse was a good coach that really came along and really done some good things in only 1 year at Ascension Catholic. But to come to Thibodaux to get things going, did you expect Thibodaux to get in a position like this right now?
Yes, I did. If you remember, I guess maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe when I was on this show, I mentioned to you guys. I know everybody wanted to talk about some other teams in the district, rightfully so, who were winning at the time. But I also mentioned, watch out for Thibodaux. At the time, Thibodaux was undefeated. They hadn't played Hornbill yet, but people were wondering if they were for real or not. Uh, Throughout the off season, you've seen how Coach Narcisse and his staff that he put together came in there and started changing the culture of the program. He has a really good coaching staff led by many of his, close family. Coach Jasmine, who's a former football player at Clemson. Coach Favorite, defensive coordinator. He has Skylar Green, LSU player on that staff. A lot of other great assistant coaches, and those players have just bought into all of that culture, and they're going into every game thinking that they can beat anyone. And we seen that last week against Terrebonne. Terrebonne's a great team. They deserve all the accolades that they've received all year. But Thibodaux has just been waiting for their turn. And you knew that Coach Narcisse, if you know Coach Narcisse, you know that he doesn't back down from a fight. He really knows a lot about football. Obviously, being a former quarterback, he knows football. But he has those players believing. He has that community supporting those kids. And, Thibodaux fans go hard. If you read that game last week against Terrebonne, it was like a playoff atmosphere times two. It was like being in a jungle, the basketball gym, if you're familiar with Thibodaux athletics. But I think Coach Narcisse has done a great job. His staff has done a great job. The fans have done a great job supporting them, and most importantly, the players have done a great job buying into what the coaches are demanding. They're game planning correctly. They're playing well offensively, defensively, even special teams. They got some really good players, and it's really good to see Thibodaux at 8-1 going into the final game at Destrehan this week. So a lot of excitement in Thibodaux, and I did have a feeling that if they could stay healthy and if they could, stay focused, I had a feeling that they could be where they are right now. So it's not a surprise, we just had to see how the season played out, and I know they lost to Harnville, but that's Harnville. That's a tough challenge. They learned from it. They bounced back from it, and I feel like Thibodaux is definitely going to be a team you don't want to probably play in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs. But at hand is the Destrehan game. That's the big one everybody's talking about right now. Chance to go possibly play against another good team and win district. If they get a win or get a share of it. So a lot of excitement, and it's gonna be fun to see what happens Friday.
Very much agreed. I looked at the highlights of that game against Terrebonne, and I'm like, we are lockstep, Chris, on what you said about the atmosphere. It reminded me of the jungle in basketball. That's ridiculous what I seen, and I really, really was impressed. I love the atmosphere, what I seen in Thibodaux, and what a team the Coach Narcisse has. Let's go to you, Coach Fronta. Your thoughts on the Destrehan Wildcats last week, stepping up with a big win again in their rivalry, and not just that. What does that experience of Destrehan that they have right now that can help them in the Friday's game? But Coach Scott, he knows, and I know you know that that's a good team down the road in the Bayou.
Well, first of all, you never overlook anybody. I'm pretty sure that Marcus has got those guys realizing that, Thibodaux, you look at their body of work and it tells you what they can do. But, one thing about Destrehan, which I've found out throughout the years, is that an old coach at Destrehan a long time ago said one thing that causes Destrehan to win a lot of times, even when they don't have the best athletes, they do the little things. And Coach Scott is already he's carried that over where he makes sure that, hey, you got to do the little things. If you don't do the little things, the big things ain't gonna happen. And he's got those guys realizing that, hey, this is a chance. Also, when they look at the power ratings and look at, hey, if 3 of those teams ahead of us lose, hey, we got a shot to move up, to get that bye. And I'm pretty sure he knows that. The kids know that, and also they're not going to overlook Thibodaux. Thibodaux's a good team. Like I say, I remember when Coach Narcisse played high school ball. I watched him. I'm aging myself when I tell you about that, but I watched Coach Narcisse play high school ball, and he was a fantastic athlete. And a lot of times, fantastic athletes don't be good coaches, but he is. He has transitioned into a very good coach. Last year, his first year at Ascension, he did great, and so I've been following him. So I know who he is. We know who he is. But also, when you go back, we're very proud of at Destrehan. We've been district champs for many, many years. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last 7, 8 years. We've been district champs. Uh, you know, it's good to see some of the other teams in the district. For instance, Terrebonne last year putting on a fight. They beat us last year. Harnville getting better. The games are no longer blowouts. And Thibodaux, because the last time Thibodaux beat us with Jai Eugene was a freshman. And he got called into duty as a freshman. So it's good to see all of those teams starting to play well, because when they play well as a team at Destrehan, it's going to make us play well. And I think that it's going to be a great game. We'll let the chips fall where they may. The better team is going to definitely win the ball game.
I understand, and the one thing me and JB said yesterday about, and I remember Marcus Scott said this not too long ago, but about a year or two ago. Like, we're just hoping that the district can give us a challenge, and now he's really starting to see it. And even last week in the Hamburg game, he really likes how this district has really turned around and the competition and everything. It makes the whole district better more than anything else with all these teams, especially how Thibodeaux has really stepped in and everything. I'm gonna ask this second round of questions right quick, and then George, I'm gonna let you take over on the questions with the two guests tonight. I'm gonna go back to you, Chris, on this one. Tell us about this back. Like we mentioned about Quincy the Bear Adams, but tell me about this back from Thibodeaux that put that team on his back and had the game of his life, getting Thibodeaux the huge win.
Simeon Adams, obviously, a lot of people who haven't kept up with Thibodeau, that it was a shock to see him run, but he scored like that throughout the season. He's played well in games where a lot of media coverage wasn't there, and he scored multiple times. But he's a great explosive back. I've seen him when they played in their scrimmage before the season, and he broke loose on a huge, like 60, 70-yard run. Thibodeau has, some really good backs, who are not only just strong and can run up the middle, but they're fast, they're shifty. Coach Jasmine, a former great running back, he has really gotten to that running back room and helped mold those kids. Not only Simeon, who had a great performance last week, but also Bondarius Brown is also another good back for him. Very fast, and the offensive line has been playing pretty well too. They got a really, one of the question marks coming into the season was how quick that unit could gel, but they're playing as a unit efficiently right now. The running game is going pretty well with Adams, and we have another Adams, like you mentioned, Quincy Bear Adams, a remarkable year at Terrebonne, but there's another Adams also right there at Thibodaux that people need to be ready to look out for. I think what's helping the running game for Thibodaux is the passing game too. The quarterback play with Damian Robertson. He's a junior. Last week he had a touchdown pass. So yeah, I see a comment. Yeah, Chad Jasmine, former St. James back. They have a lot of St. James flavor at at Thibodaux right now. One that went to Chad Jasmine. I don't know if Coach Ulysses remember him. He went to Clemson back in the day with Coach Gailey. After in the 90s, I think. But
we never could beat them.
Yeah,
Awesome,
that Wayne T back in the day. One thing about St. James, they know how to breed running backs. They've always had great running backs, and a little bit of that now. Thibodaux has always had some really good running backs, but you can now see it's now mixing and coming together at Thibodaux. So yeah, he had a great game. Terrebonne had no way to stop him, and even when they slowed him down at the end, he was able to grind it out for huge yards, especially that go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter. That's going to be key against Destrehan because Destrehan has a lot of great athletes on that defense. If Thibodaux can find a way to get Adams going and also mix in some carries with Bondarius and also get the passing game going on with Damian Robertson and Kyron Fultz and all those guys, spread the ball around, keep Destrehan guessing. I think they can have a chance to go in there and put up a lot of points because we've seen them. They put up. They had a chance to score a lot of points against Hanville. They had some. They had a big turnover right before half, and maybe some calls or some plays that didn't go their way. But I think that Thibodaux can possibly score. Find ways to move the ball down the field and punch it in the end zone with a variety of weapons.
very much understandable. Coach Fronta, I'm gonna ask this question, and George Peppers, you are up on the questions. Uh, Coach Fronta, we talked about Thibodeaux side with their offense. Let's talk about Destrehan's offense. We know it starts up front with Jackson, with the quarterback Jackson Fields, and also with the weapons that they have, especially at wide receiver and also at running back. And you just can't forget about what Malachi Dabney did last week. And I mean, he stepped up big time again. And you can say he put his name in history books for the Hanville Destrehan rivalry with historic players that having great historic games. Your thoughts on how Dabney has been stepping up and how the offense is continuing to get better?
Well, quiet as kept. People don't realize that Dabney last year was thrust in the starting spot when our starting running back got hurt, and coming out of the junior high, Dabney was not ready for high school football. But as by the third game, he understood the difference between high school and junior high school. If you go back and you look at last year's schedule, the last 5 games, other than the Ruston game, he averaged almost 250 yards a game, and this was in the playoffs. So we went up to Northwood, and he ran away with them. We did the same thing with Airline. Dabney has come of age. But what a lot of people forget, a lot of Dabney's good is because of that big offensive line we have. We got the two Collins brothers at tackles, and they're both 6'3", about 370. And the little brother, who's a sophomore, is probably meaner than the big brother. So they're gonna get after you. They're gonna block you. And Malachi does a great job of finding the holes. Also, along with that, we had a good change of pace when we go to the Wildcat. We go to the Wildcat. We got Jabari Mack in the backfield. We also take Damian Deuce Richard, put him in the backfield, who's our #1 cornerback. Because he started as a running back. So we have a good change of pace, and along with that, Jackson does a great job. Jackson Fields has really done. He started as a sophomore for Destrehan. He was the heir apparent to Jai Eugene. And he got a little playing time his freshman year, and as a sophomore, hey, he realized what he needed to do, and he's playing well. Plus, we've got some nice weapons on the outside for him to throw to. When you look at Jabari Mack was one of the guys that ran on 4x1 for Destrehan that went 40.8. So he's got a little speed. And so he can get by people. We also have some other kids. We got the odd kid, about 6'2", high points the ball. Does a great job of doing that. He's not as fast as Jabari, but he catches the ball, and he's tall. We got some other kids that they don't get in the limelight, but they like to be the other kids. If you understand what I'm saying, when I say the other kids, they're the ones that do the dirty work. We got some H-backs that don't mind getting in your face and blocking. And then when we go to the defensive side, if you saw us against St. Aug, you never thought we would be where we are right now in the first scrimmage. You were there. Coulon shredded us. Their running backs shredded us. But we had to reinvent our defense. And Coach Scott and the guys have done a great job of reinventing the defense. Along with that, Damian Richard, our lockdown corner, basically, he didn't even play that game. He didn't play against St. Aug. He was hurt. So it made a difference. We had a lot of young kids on the field at night. And it definitely showed, because I even second guess us. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I hope this is not our defense this year. But some kids have stepped up. For instance, we got a kid, the Buffin kid, number 22, and we got Cameron Florent, number 15, two outside backers. Both of those guys have stepped up. Matter of fact, Florent had an interception against Hornville. And he's just a junior. So and we got some, a lot of people saying Destrehan after Jabari and them leave, we're gonna be this, gonna be that. But what they don't realize, we got some pretty good juniors. You got Malachi, and then we got some good sophomores. And then when you look at the defensive secondary, just about all those guys are juniors except for Damian Richard. So we got the whole saying where you try to keep the young kids ready. Our JV team has done well this year. Our freshman team has done well this year. We got some young kids in the wings waiting to come up, and like I said, we're going to show up, and you've been to the atmosphere at Destrehan, pre-game, hey, when the lights go out, they start shooting the fireworks, you start seeing that fire shooting up, it's exciting, so it's gonna be a great game. We got a great opponent, like I said, and yes, I do remember Mr. Jasmine when he was over at St. James with Gailey, because I was on the coaching staff at Destrehan coaching football at that time, and we always had a tough time beating those guys, just keeping it close, but Destrehan has definitely changed. We're no longer in the wing tee. they're not in the wing T like they were at St. James, you know. So Northeastern's not using that. Everybody's using that run and shoot type of offense, making it wide open. And we've got some weapons, you know. And it starts, like you say, with Jackson Fields. He's our trigger man. You know, when he's healthy, we play well.
I completely understand. I'm not surprised with Marcus Scott did with his defense. Me and JB talked about it in the St. Louis scrimmage, and I said, give it some time. I think Marcus will get them. Marcus Scott to get them right, and which they did, and they have really came a long, long way. Big time improvement for the Destrehan defense. We're live right now with Coach Ulysses Fronta of the Nick Network and Bayou reporter, legendary reporter Chris Singleton. And continue to chat on the Hash It Out Show. Continue to talk, continue to chat. We definitely appreciate the interaction. George Peppers, you're up. George?
He fell asleep over there.
Oh no. I think he might have froze. I hope he didn't. But George, I think he might have froze up. I don't think he fell asleep. Here we go.
Nope.
You good?
Oh,
You good?
wait, hold up. It's yellow, VK. I think. No, I'm green.
Okay.
Where's the yellow coming from, though? Oh, no, that's the background. It's not me.
It's all good.
But
It's all good.
first off, I owe one person out of our two guests an apology. Coach Fronta, that's you. Because I went against your beloved Wildcats last week when I was with the only one when y'all played BRC. And y'all beat them earlier this year. The other two, JB and VK, took Baton Rouge Catholic. I took Destrehan. I stood with y'all. But in the biggest rivalry game, I went against y'all. Boy, I feel crazy. But no, I want to ask you, if you had to pick one, this is for both of you, you and Chris, the staple of running backs in the Bayou, with Adams from Terrebonne, with Malachi Dabney from Destrehan, and Thibodaux's kid. Which of the three, if you needed one back to win one game, would you say you're my horse? Who's the lead dog? And Coach Fronta, let me start with you.
You know, I mean, quite. You know, I mean, there's no guessing what I'm going to say. You know, I mean, I believe going on it great. You know, I'm a graduate of Destrehan High School, so you know what I'm going to say. You know, and just like I say on Friday nights, Malachi. You know, I ain't got to say nothing else other than that first name. Everybody know who I'm talking about. And by the way, you picked against us against Terrebonne also.
All right, I can bet Chris. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could.
All right, Coach. I think you got some static in the background over there. But Chris, same question to you. I mean, you cover that area, and there's a staple of great backs down that way. And who would you, I'm putting that question to you, who would you take? I mean, Dabney after the 7 touchdown performance, it's a hard argument to make against. Terrebonne's kid Adams is outstanding. The guy in Thibodaux is outstanding. Harville's got a good back themselves. I mean, there's a lot of great backs. But when I put this question to you, who you going with?
Well, for me, I mean, obviously that's a very hard question.
It is.
Because we got some really good running backs. You didn't even mention H.R. Bourgeois, Kadar Mitchell. He's been running all over the place.
Right.
And they have a chance to make the playoffs. But, in no particular order, we got some really good talented running backs here. Quincy Bear Adams has obviously carried the load this year for a really good Terrebonne team. I'm guessing he's over 1,500 yards, approaching 2,000 yards. God knows how many touchdowns, probably over 15, 20 touchdowns. He just carried the load for Terrebonne. I know he got banged up a little bit last week with an ankle injury, but he's expected to be okay. It's just that, whenever he gets a hole, he's going to sprint right through it and find some way to, beat up on those poor defenders out there. I've seen him drag maybe one or two, maybe three defenders at times, or just run through 4 or 5 of them just to get his yardage. And then there's Alvin Celestine at Terrebonne too. He's getting a lot of offers too. He's been more of a shifty back. They've used him as a slot at times as a receiver. And, he's also another capable back. But Quincy has definitely, carried the load at Terrebonne. And everybody's seeing now what Simeon is doing at Thibodaux. Another really good back, just something about those Adams along Bayou Lafourche, I know he comes from a good pedigree of running backs in his family. So if I had to pick, obviously Quincy has been the torch leader throughout the season, and that offensive line from Terrebonne opens up a lot of holes for him. And then Simeon's making his name, Bondarius is making his name at Thibodaux, Kadar's making his name, and even the Destrehan kid, that was really impressive what he did last week against Hineville. 7 touchdowns. I mean, you don't hear about that very often. I think maybe that's with the Puka Williams slash Brandon Jacobs dominant kind of stats there. But to answer your question, we got a lot of good running backs. But if I had to pick one to, based off of the body of work so far from week 1 to where we are now, Quincy has definitely done his due justice. But we have some really good other running backs around here, and I look forward to seeing what they're going to do in the playoffs.
The dearth of running backs in that area is just crazy good. But to answer my own question, I would take Quincy, and nothing against Malachi, but I would take Quincy Adams. I saw him really just dominate. He has been that dude. And of course, when Terrebonne can run him and Alvin Celestine together, you've got a hellacious thunder and lightning kind of combination going on there. I was a little bit taken aback that they lost outright to Thibodaux last week. But let's get back to this. Let me get back to this question. To you, Chris. I'm going to start with you this time. Thibodaux has been the wonder-kind story of this year. You yourself have said you're not that surprised that they've been there, but the pundits around the state are like, where did they come from? But you saw this with Lowell Narcisse coming after the year he had at Ascension. You kind of had an idea that Thibodaux was serious about getting it back. What would it mean to that group if they were to go to Destrehan and win that game this Friday night?
Well, I think it would, after talking to after talking to Coach Narcisse after the big win last week, it was a very emotional win. Not a lot of people thought that they would do what they did against Terrebonne, right? So they got that done. And going into this game, you can quite honestly say not a lot of people outside of Thibodaux think they're going to go into Destrehan and win this game. But they're confident, they believe in themselves, and I think if they can find a way to pull out a win, it's just going to show that this program is above expectations. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for a lot of people when they thought about Thibodaux High football at the beginning of the season. So they've far exceeded expectations in year 1 of the Coach Narcisse, and now everything else is just lanyard as they talk about it on the Bayou.
Right.
Like Coach Ulysses said, Destrehan is a respectable opponent. Everybody knows Destrehan has probably been the standard of the district over the last 10, 15, 20 years, I would say, probably even longer than that. Usually Destrehan is considered, if they're not a champion in district, they're probably a co-champion or somewhere along those lines. It's going to be hard. If Thibodaux can overcome that atmosphere, I think they have a good shot. And also their defense has been playing pretty well this year. I know we talked about their offense, but their defense, to do what they did against Terrebonne last week, even though Terrebonne scored a lot of pass touchdowns and moved the ball at times, they really crowded that backfield and made Quincy and Alvin Celestine work for every yard that they got. Thibodaux's defensive line has been playing pretty well. Kamari Carter, Charles Howard. They got some really underrated guys that people haven't heard of. Linebacker core, defensive backs. Their defense has played well. They're going to the ball carrier. I'm looking forward to see how they're going to attack, the running backs from Destrehan this week. So that's going to be a key element of this game on Friday. But, if Thibodaux wins, I think that's just going to show everybody across the state that this team is for real. And it's going to give them some extra motivation going into the playoffs to, try to make a push to the dome in the first year, But Lowell, I know one thing about Lowell, they're going to go into every game ready to play. They're going to game plan. They're going to go in there and they're going to believe that they're going to play. A lot of people from Thibodaux is going to be on that visitor side at Wildcat Stadium. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere. And I look forward to seeing, how Thibodaux responds, getting into that playoff atmosphere before the playoffs, and we'll see how they go from there.
Coach Monta, for you, Jackson Fields has been, he's been back. He's come back from the injury-riddled season he had last year, and Destrehan has really started to elevate and really they feel like one of the ones around the state that could win a state championship. The best thing that could have happened to them last week was what they did at Hahnville, and to not lose focus because of a rivalry. You know how the rivalry is with Hahnville. But what is the word around campus this week? What is the word around Destrehan, Coach, in advance of this game? I mean, I know there's respect for Thibodaux, but what's being said by the alumni and all that? What kind of excitement level are we looking at this week?
Well, first of all, uh, Coach North has done a fantastic job, and that's not going to be overlooked. Destrehan is not going to overlook that. Destrehan realizes that they're going to have a fumble. And, the good thing about playing somebody like Thibodaux is that as Destrehan, you don't overlook them. You don't look ahead of who you're going to play in the playoffs or what season you're going to get. It's one game at a time. And that's basically the mindset of Coach Scott. One game at a time. One game at a time. You win one game at a time, or you lose it. It depends. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. We played Alexandria at Destrehan. And we lost to them. We lost to Catholic at Baton Rouge. But we still stood back and we still played hard for 4 quarters. And I think Thibodaux's got to realize that they're going to get a team that's going to play hard. And we're going to scratch its claw because nobody at Destrehan wants to be the first team in almost 20 years that didn't win the district championship. You look at those teams, and they don't want to be the ones that go out saying, "Oh, we didn't win the district." Everybody wants to have that on their back and say, "Yeah, we were the district champions our senior year." And I think that's part of the mystique of Destrehan that goes on because when you play Destrehan, you got to choose your poison. Everybody talks about Malachi. They forget about some of the other kids that run the ball too. Also tend to forget that Jabari Max, a pretty good receiver. I don't think he would be going to LSU in January if he wasn't. You got to look at Jalen Hard. He's a junior, the tall kid number one. We got some guys that will catch the ball. Jackson Fields, a seasoned quarterback. He hasn't really been making mistakes, and that's the key as a quarterback. And not only that, he's run a little read option. If you pay attention to the Hornbill game, he took off 2 times. He pulled it out of the back. He pulled it away from the back and took off running with it. And Jackson is not a little kid. He's about 180, 190. About 6'1". So, he's a good sized guy. And he can take a little punishment. So, we're not overlooking Thibodaux. We're not looking forward to next week. We won't look forward to next week until Saturday. Because we got to take care of business at hand. And you got to make sure to take care of business at home at hand before you can move on to the next round.
Okay, last question from me, VK, to both of our guests, and it's going to be for both of them. When you look at the depth of good teams in that area, talk about Destrehan, Thibodaux, Hahnville, and Terrebonne. Let's not forget Terrebonne. They did lose last week, but it would be a titanic mistake to ignore that team. And Top Lewis's team has the formula to make a long run. But Coach Fronta, I want to throw this to you and kind of single it out a little bit. Do you think Destrehan has regained that swagger that they've had? Because when you see how they've navigated the schedule that they have, winning a big game against BRC, then knocking off Hahnville and then beating Terrebonne the way they did, they've had some quality wins. Do you feel like Destrehan has that swagger back? Do they have that look of a team that we'll see on the second weekend of December in New Orleans?
Well, when they were 1-3, when they were 1-2, after the third game, after the Alexandria game, a lot of people doubted them. But as I said, and as y'all saw, that the defense was still learning. The defense was still growing. Coach Scott has finally got the defense to the point where they believe in themselves. You know, they think they can stop everybody. You know, and also if you notice, Destrehan, if you keep it close early, most of the games we play,
Enrique, I'm not here.
Destrehan is stood up. You know, Destrehan has stood up and changed the game in the second half and played a little more ball control ball. Against Thibodaux, that's one of the things we definitely got to do. We got to play ball control. Because if we keep the ball long enough and score, then we ain't got to worry about them getting it and scoring. You know, so yeah, we got our swag. I think we do. We believe, you know, because like I said, nobody wants to be the team that did not win district.
All right, Chris, last question for you. Because Coach Ronta's cutting out on me on my end. But
He's good. He's good. Just a little
okay.
technical, but he's fine. But go ahead.
A
What
little
was that?
staticky. I can hear him, but it's like staticky, but that's fine.
Yes.
Chris, last question to you. You do an amazing job every year covering these areas for us, and you do it. I just want to compliment you first that you're one of the hardest working people I've gotten to meet and know, and we're glad to call you a friend. And you do an amazing job, man, doing your job and getting that hustle in, and that's mad respect from us at the Hash It Out Show. I just wanted to say that to you before we get done. Um, but Chris, my question to you uh, when you look at the area itself, I mean, I asked about Destrehan, but I want to target the teams that are on the up and come. Harnville, Terrebonne has been looking for the breakthrough. Thibodaux has had a monster year. Are any of those teams that you could say, you know what, they can make a little run here and maybe get to Thanksgiving and maybe further? Do you feel like any of these teams have that characteristic?
Well, first of all, thank you for your comments about me. I appreciate y'all and all the great work that y'all have done over the years too. Um,
Thank you.
this is. I know River Parish has always, been considered the standards. You talk about the River Parish, Seanville, Destrehan, and then you go further, St. Charles and Riverside and St. James, Letcher. And unfortunately, over the years, our Bayou schools have had to go up against a lot of those great programs over the years.
Right.
But I think that, from talking to a lot of the coaches and, longtime fans from here, that kind of competition has helped give them something to, strive for, to, not only beat them, but also get to the Superdome and try to win state championships. And here in Houma and Thibodaux areas, we have a really good football season going on. We have, like you say, Thibodaux's not 8-1. Terrebonne is 7-2 or something along those lines. Then you got Vanderbilt, who's undefeated. They're playing Edie White
Mhm.
next on Friday. That's another huge rivalry. We got Covenant Christian. They're playing well in 1A. St. James, obviously, in 3A. All of these teams. You could say St. James is a little Bayou and River too, so it's okay.
Yeah, I understand.
They're not all River. We give them some attention here in the Bayou too. But
There you go.
yeah, all of these programs have definitely proven that they can compete and contend. And then we got some other hidden gems along there. South Lafourche is having a good year. H.L. Bourgeois, if they win, they can possibly make the playoffs. South Terrebonne can probably sneak in. We have some really good programs throughout. And it's really fun to see the stadiums packed and, see people proud about talking about football. And even if we don't have a team that goes to the Dome and win it all, I think it's been a very successful year, and we're just continuing to build to catch up with, like I see a lot of messages from your fans here about cars and, Destrehands and all these other great programs, but I feel like, the Bayou teams, if they have to play any of these teams in the playoffs, they're going to give it 4 quarters. They're going to be prepared, and they're going to go out there and fight. And even if they win or lose, they're going to come away from it respectable. So, and that's how I think Thibodaux's going to approach this game on Friday. Yeah, it's Destrehan, and for some reasons, Destrehan has always been a nightmare for a lot of Bayou programs. But from talking to the players and the teams and the mindset that Coach Narcisse has right now, they're going to go in there believing they can win, and that's what you want to see. And I think Destrehan would like that too. They want to get some competition too. They want to see somebody who's going to come in there and give them a test And who knows, you might see these matchups again in the playoffs. You could see Hornbill going against Terrebonne or Thibodaux playing again against Destrehan in the playoffs. So who knows? But I think it's a great football season. I'm happy that the Bayou teams have played well, and I look forward to seeing how far they can go in the playoff.
Chris Singleton, legendary reporter out of the Bayou, and also Coach Ulysses Fronta of the Nick Network. Thank y'all so much for joining us, y'all guys. We'll consider y'all two friends of this program, and y'all guys do a great job of what y'all do. We wish y'all the best going forward. Thank you so much for joining us, and I know we expect some big things, not just in the River Parish, but a huge, huge year for the Bayou Parish. And I definitely agree with you on that, Chris. I mean, bruh, y'all having a huge year, bro. What we're seeing, it's amazing. I've been in this business 20 years. We always see a lot from the River Parish, but the Bayou, my God, what is going
They're
on
doing
this year is
work.
amazing. They're doing a lot of great work this year. But we wish y'all the best, and thank y'all for coming to the show.
Thank you
All right, guys.
very much.
Thank y'all so
Yeah,
much.
appreciate what y'all do for high school
And
football,
and
man.
and before y'all get out of here, be there early. Destrehan, Thibodaux, Friday at Destrehan. Get there early. Packed crowd, expected SRO. So please get there early for that district championship matchup. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
All right,
We
Coach.
appreciate we appreciate Coach Fronta and also Chris Singleton joining us tonight on the Hash It Out Show, previewing the Thibodaux Tigers taking on the Destrehan Wildcats. As we're about to get ready now for our favorite time of the night here and what we do each and every week on the Hash It Out Show, and that is picks time. That is picks time as we pick all the great matchups we have here on the Hash It Out Show. Y'all continue to interact with us. You can see what we're picking, or you want to pick whatever you want to pick. It's all to the good. We know our friends are under the lights will get their thing going at 8:30, but let's get it rolling. All right, Jay. Before we get started, George, winners last week on the picks.
Oh, he just trying to get me drove. I hear you. But let's talk. Last week with a cumulative record of 18-10, there was a dead even tie for the win, and that was between you, sir, and Jared JB Boyd. I was one win behind you at 17-11. Admittedly, and you yourself have told me this a few nights ago. This was subpar by our standards. We really dropped the ball last week, and this week it's about get back for all of us. I mean, if JB wins the picks, great. Whoever wins it, great. But I'm looking to have a big finish for all three of us. A big, big finish. For us to go to the playoffs and regain that swagger and that momentum that we had over the last few weeks when you went 25-3, and then we all had big weeks after that. We've done well this year. I'm looking at the cumulative records as we speak, BK. JB has 176 wins to 61 losses. I have 169 wins to 68 losses, a 7-win gap. And you are 3 behind me at 166 and 70. So the race for second is still dead on. And there's some big matchups that could be swing matchups as we get ready to make these picks. And I don't know if you saw the Under the Lights pick calendar, but dude, they must have. I'm going to be so funny right now. They must not have nothing else to do, but they put like I think 80 something games this week or something, some obscene number, and it's like, fellas, we love y'all, and it's all good, but boy, man, I mean, and then they cover the spectrums, BK, and they do a great job. Those guys at UTL Under the Lights, they do a great job. And then talking with Chris and Coach Fonte, I'm sure we'll see them in the Superdome in 5 weeks time, in 6 weeks time. Uh,
Absolutely. We'll definitely,
the big coronations and everything, and who knows? It's a weekend of celebration, and I'm looking forward to it. But you know what? Also, I'm looking forward to this week because you were talking a lot of noise a few nights ago, sir, on our chat. Yeah, Hash It Out Show fans. VK Jones was talking noise about how he was going to chase me down. It ain't happening.
we're gonna see
It
what
ain't
happens.
happening.
We're gonna
It's
see what
time. The get
happens,
back
but
is starting. The get back is real. It's happening now.
all I know, my friend, I'm 3 behind you. I'm in
It's
striking
all
distance.
love, though. It's all love,
Striking
dude.
distance.
You know
We're
this.
gonna see. It's gonna be an interesting week.
Fun.
We got 20. We Underlights does a lot, but our limit is usually 25 to 28. Tonight, 25 games that we're
That's
picking,
it.
and let's get it going. We're gonna
Let's
start it
go.
off This is mixed between Thursday to Friday. So we're going to
Okay.
start off first. Como at Westgate. That will be a Thursday kick. Game is at Westgate.
Okay. You giving me the lead on this one?
Yes, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Como really took one on the chin last week, and they're looking to lick the wounds off that loss, but they're taking on a team that knows the playoff successes in their past in Westgate. Como hasn't been in this spot for a little bit. I think this is a good matchup early, but I feel like Westgate gets some pull away at some point, maybe midway third, early fourth. But Westgate will come away with the win over Como on Thursday.
I think this is a thrilling game more than anything else. Westgate barely got the win last week, but I think Como, they're going to be playing for that playoff live.
Yep.
The winner will ice themselves a playoff spot. Tight game to the fourth quarter, but I'm going to go with Westgate as well. Westgate gets the win. JB picks Westgate.
Damn him.
All right.
I got to make up 7. I need to
Yeah,
disagree with him on 8.
we'll see what happens. Game number
That's right.
2 coming up here. Next game. This is for the district championship. Dunham. They are on the road at Slaughter Charter. Slaughter 7-2 on the year and undefeated in the district. A huge improvement this season. Who takes the district championship? And Dunham is in, I believe, the top 8 for actually number 5 in the power rankings.
Right.
What's your pick on this one? Is it Dunham or Slaughter?
First of all, let's give a massive shout out to Slaughter community. I mean, those kids have really renovated themselves and gotten themselves in a good spot. And playing for a district championship in week 10, raise your hand if you thought that was going to happen. Dunham, a state championship finalist from a year ago. They're looking to kind of tighten things up as we head to the playoffs, but they've got the one thing Slaughter doesn't have, and that's Elijah Haven. Um, I feel like in that kind of game, VK, the spotlight, I don't want to say it's going to be too big for Slaughter, but when you're not used to it, when you haven't been in these kind of pressure pack games, I kind of tend to favor the team that's been there, done that. Give me Dunham to win this game.
I think this game will be real, real close. I think it'll come down to the fourth quarter, but I think Elijah Haven's experience is going to make the big plays and get it done. Close ball game. Slaughter's going to give it everything they have. I wouldn't be
Yep.
surprised if it comes down to the wire, but Dunham wins the district championship, and JB picks the Dunham Tigers. Our next game. This is also a Thursday game. And this one will be at the Shrine at Airline. It'll be the Edna Carr Cougars already clinching a share of the district championship for the 4th straight year. They will take on the Archbishop Rummel Raiders. Your pick, George?
Rumble is always one of those feisty kind of teams that they really just grit and battle and go at it. Carr's going to see a little bit different type of game in this spot that they've been used to. But at the end of the day, VK, that skill set that Carr has, I just think it's going to be too much. They've really rolled a lot of teams, but no one has taken them to the fourth. Well, except for um, the Florida team that played them in a Superdome in week 2.
American Heritage.
Yeah, American Heritage. Except for that team, no one in the state of Louisiana has pushed this team to the fourth quarter. Not even St. Augustine. Because remember, they got rid of St. Aug, and at halftime they were three scores up, and they never let up. Rummel's gonna fight, and Nick Monica's gonna have those boys ready. But the task is too much here. VK, give me Carr.
Well, looking at this game, I think Nick Monica will have his team ready, but I think Edna Carr is getting sick and tired of taking their ride to the Shrine.
You're not kidding.
I think Carr big. I think Carr big to send a
Okay.
message that we are the defending, not just the defending Cat League champs, but state champs, and that will be 4 straight titles, 3 outright, and then on top of that, looking at 4 years in the league, only 1 loss in the Cat League in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
For JB, he picks the Cougars of Edna Carr. Up next, also on a Thursday, LB Landry goes to John F. Kennedy. This game now is at Joe Brown Thursday night. Your pick, George.
Nick Foster has done wonders with that program in year 2, hasn't he? I mean, you got to give that a shout out there. Kennedy, after a little bit of a middling start offensively, remember they had to replace a lot of talent, a lot of skill. Defensively, they're not as good as they were last year. They're good, but they're not. Oh my God, they've got a ton of they've got a ton of problems that they're going to cause. That's a good football team, but the balance has really started to come forth. I think Kennedy's upside in this game is going to be a little much here for Nick Foster and Landry. Landry, kudos to you guys. You've had a heck of a run here, but I feel like Linares Alpage is going to win this district, and this is not with his best team, obviously. But Kennedy gets it done. VK.
I think this game is close. I think Landry is fighting for their playoff lives. They're right at the cut line at 24.
Right.
So anything can happen. I think this game goes down to the wire, but I think Linares Elphage and the Cougars gets it done and wins the outright district championship. Give me the Kennedy Cougars. JB goes with the Kennedy Cougars as well. Next game on the lineup, and I think this one will be Friday.
All right.
Union Parish is at Sterlington. A real good one. That will decide the district. Your pick on this one, George.
This is a really good football game that we have forthcoming up there, way up there in the boondocks of Shreveport, north of Shreveport. Sterlington's in a blink and you miss it town, right? Union Parish doesn't look that they don't look have the imposing look that they've had the past few years. Coach Metaphor is a good coach, but it feels like that teams have been kind of, not been the Union Parish of home where they just ransack people and run you into the ground. However, the Panthers of Sterlington have been nice all year long. I think this is a team that will be reckoned with in the state playoffs forthcoming in a week's time. Give me Sterlington at home to get the win over Union Parish.
I think Union Parish will come in, Spatafora have his team ready. It's going to be a war between these two teams. But
Yep.
I think Sterlington has a huge full quarter and get it done. Give me Sterlington. JB also goes with Sterlington. Our next game, and this is on a Thursday. Warren Easton and Jesuit, the Battle of Canal Street. In this one, Canal Street to Bank Street. This is a big one between these two. Playoff implications on the line with these two teams here. Your pick, George, on this one.
I look at this game, and Warren Easton is not exactly safe when it comes to the playoffs. They're in the 22, 23 area right now. They're not quite safe.
24, right on the cut line.
24. They're right at that cut. And Jesuit in Division One Select, they are higher than Warren Easton. I think no matter what happens here, they get in. But I look at Warren Easton and really VK, they've kind of slipped and slid a little bit this year. When you look at them, they've kind of been up and down. They can get the one bugaboo that I have with this Eagles team is the penalties. You know, Even after the games we've covered, they've not really fortified that. And I feel like in an airtight game like this, because Jesuits got some guys that can get it. They got some dogs on that group. I mean, Carl Reed's a nice quarterback for Warren Easton, but I'm gonna take Ryan Manali and Jesuit to win this game by a touchdown. Give me the Blue Jays at home.
Close ball game, real close
Agree.
ball game in itself. I think Easton has a great chance of winning this game, but I think at the end, I think Jesuit wins the game, possibly by a field goal, giving the Blue Jays. And JB goes also with the Jesuit Blue Jays.
Dude,
Uh,
that's fair.
next game on the lineup. This could decide everything. This is a funny district in itself. We don't know who wins this district because I think 3 teams have 1 loss or 2 losses in the district. St. Amal is at Denham Springs. A big one there. Your pick on that, George.
That's a heck of a fight though, that game. The Gators and the Yellow Jackets. There's not going to be a lot in between these teams. I think this is an airtight football game, 48 minutes of fun stuff. The team that obviously the most obvious cliche is whatever team makes the more defensive stops wins, but I feel like this is one of these games where the disagreements may start to bear. but I'm going to go with the Yellow Jackets at Denham Springs at home to win a very close game.
Denham Springs is 12 in the power ranking, St. Amant 16, and they're both 7-2. Some has got to give. It's going to be
Great.
a close ball game. I really think that St. Amant is going to be ready to play, but I'm going to go with Coach Beard and the Yellow Jackets of Denham Springs to win that close ball game coming up. JB goes with the Yellow Jackets as well. Next game on the docket. This is on a Thursday. The Zachary Broncos goes on the road to Memorial Stadium to take on Catholic of Baton Rouge. George, your pick on that one?
Two teams that have state championship aspirations that have chances to get there. Baton Rouge Catholic, especially. Some of us really think that team, once they get to the big show, they're going to be a problem in the playoffs in Division One. And I hear it's the car invitational or whatever. But this game in and of itself is going to be a good game. But I'm going to take the team that I think is starting to get their bearings about them more. Give me Catholic of Baton Rouge to win this game. I'll give you a 10-point margin. Give me the Bears at home by 10.
And I'm going to actually agree with you. I'm going to go with Catholic as well. Zachary is really stumbling a bit. They're going to be ready to go, but I really can't think Catlic's going to pull it out. And you're really
Mm-hmm.
not going to like JB. JB takes the Bears as well.
Jesus. Okay.
He's really trying to hold on to that championship.
Cheating, sir.
I give him that.
I agree.
Thibodaux. Now, this is the big one. We previewed this early. Here we go.
Yes, we did.
Thibodaux at Destrehan for the district championship. George, your pick.
I'm going to go with Destrehan, VK. I think that I admire the job that Llewellyn Narcisse has done. They have really upgraded the talent pool there. They have put the culture of winning back at Thibodaux. I remember the years where they used to win a lot. And I look at that team, and they're going to give Destrehan a little bit of a tussle. But I just feel like Dabney has been that dude. You know, he had the big game last week. Will he get 7 touchdowns again? I'd be amazed if he did. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this game's going to be won with the arm of Jackson Fields. I think they're going to find some pass plays here and that's going to be the difference. Give me Destrehan at home, BK, to win this district once again.
I look at this. I think it's going to go down to the wire. Give me Destrehan by a field goal. It's going to be really, really close. Thibodaux is going to be ready to go, and they are going to send a serious message that they're going to be a factor in the playoffs. JB goes with the Wildcats of Destrehan. Another district championship matchup, and this is a bunch of district championship matchups, and we're glad that it's part of the 25 picks we have. In the Bayou, Vanderbilt Catholic looking to finish undefeated and district champions as they go on the road at E.D. White. George.
Who am I picking? That's the question, right? Okay. The Terriers have been monster good this year, right? Undefeated, have been really just rolling through, correct? E.D. White, though, let's not forget they got to the state finals last year, and Kyle Lassine's going to get his team. They're going to be ready to roll because now it's go time now for this game because this is the perfect setup for the Cardinals of E.D. White, right? It's the last week of the season. It's a district championship, and what better momentum to get to the playoffs than to pull this thing out? Great job by the Terriers all year long, but I'm going to take a flyer and go with the Cardinals and that mixed up and that balanced offense that they showed us last year that they've shown again this year. Give me the Cardinals, VK. E.D. White wins this game.
I think this game is close,
Very.
but I think E.D. White's experience, especially Barbera at quarterback, they are playing at the right time. Close game, but E.D. White, the Cardinals, they get it done by a touchdown. Give me E.D. White to win the district. JB agrees with us again. E.D. White. Like I said, he's trying to hold on. Next game on the docket. This is probably Friday night. Brother Martin, Holy Cross. George.
Mm. Somebody told me something very interesting about Brother Martin today that I won't share on the show because it was a little bit, I don't want to say gratuitous, but very insulting. And I'll share that with you off air. I don't want to put it on air because that will stir a lot of pots. I think we're in for a good matchup, and Scott Watney does a heck of a job there. And Mark Moniz has done great, with Brother Martin. This is a good coaches matchup, but I'm going to lean the way of the visitors. Give me Brother Martin to win a close game. I think Easton Royal makes a play at some point, and they have what Holy Cross doesn't have, a big difference maker. Give me Brother Martin to win this game, VK.
Holy Cross has a really good running back,
They do.
and they did yeoman's work against St. Augustine. Came up short, but they gave them a lot of fits. I think they do the same thing against Brother Martin, but I think the Crusaders will come up big in the end. Give me Brother Martin. And JB goes with the Crusaders. Next, and this anything can happen in this district because 4 teams are tied
For the lead.
for the district lead.
Yep.
2 of the teams going at it. Anything can happen in this district. Chalmette is at Salmon. George.
That was a pretty disgruntling loss by Salmet last week against Slidell, but it looks like the Tigers found their way last week, really winning an effort game. And I don't want to say we've overshot on Chalmette. I still think Chalmette's a quality team, a very good team, but they're actually on the outside of the home side of the playoffs. They are not on the home side of the bracket right now. Salmon has had a good year, but they feel up and down a little bit. However, Spartan Field is a tough place to win. Salmon, that's a tough place to go up there and get that. That being said, I want to go conventional here, VK. Give me Chalmette to bounce back and get a win in a close game here. Give me the Owls on the road.
I think this game is close. They are both 24 and 25 in the power rankings. Salmon
Yep.
24, Chalmette 25. Close game. Salmon has been in every game this year. And I think the way Chalmette lost that game
Concerning.
against Slidell is very alarming to me. Give me the Spartans getting a huge win on Friday night, more of a return to glory win for the
I got
Spartans.
you.
Give me
Okay.
Salmon. And JB, for the first time, disagrees with you, George. He's also going with the Salmon Spartans.
Free win night. Free win. I'm kidding.
Well, we'll see what
Oh,
happens.
it's all in fun, dude. Let's roll.
All in
Come on,
fun.
baby.
You're going to Chalmette. We're going Salmon. Next
Yes, sir.
game. This is another game that could possibly decide the district here. And can you believe it comes down to the rivals with a possible chance of a district championship? Covington. They go on the road at St. Paul's. Who you got?
Heck of a matchup here. Greg Salter's done yeoman's work. Remember, Covington was beat up last year, and the reason why they really fell off, they had the positive start, but then a myriad of injuries derailed them last year. They've avoided that this year, and you see them by the results, 7-2. They're a stout football team, and St. Paul's is St. Paul's. Kenny Sears, those guys are always there every year. We're in for an entertaining matchup on Friday night. And again, I admire the job Coach Salter has done, VK, but I'm going to go with Kenny Sears and the St. Paul's Wolves to win a close football game. Give me St. Paul's.
I think this is a very close football game as well. Greg Salter will have his team ready. It's going to be a hell of a game coming down to the wire. But St. Paul, some way, somehow, always finds a way to get it done, especially in the regular season. Give me the Wolves. They have been a linchpin in that district for years and years now. So I'm going with St. Paul's, and JB agrees with us as he goes with the Wolves. Next game on the docket, playoff implications on the line with this one, and a battle for second place in the district. Frederick Douglass taking on George Washington Carver over at Joe Brown. That'll be on a Friday. Your pick, George.
They gave McDonough 35 a lot of problems last week. 26-20 in that game. Close game all the way through, right? Carver has been a solid team. Coach Figueroa has had a good year with them. They seem to be on the up and up with the trajectory of how they've played. This is a very entertaining game, VK. It's really not a whole lot in between them. This is going to be a tough one to pick. Um, I'm going to go with the home team here. Give me the Rams and Coach Figueroa to win a close football game.
I think this game is going to be close as well. I think Carver's very, very talented. This goes down to the wire, but I'm going to go with Coach McLeod and the experience of Frederick Douglass. I think they get it done. You look at Carver, they're 13 in the power rankings. Frederick Douglass, 16. The winner possibly will get a home playoff game. So I'm going to go with the Douglas Bobcats. And Mr. JB, he goes this week with the Bobcats of Douglas. Our next game of the lineup, and we're going to go over in a very good non-district game, and I can't believe this is a non-district game in week 10. The Hahnville Tigers, looking to try to get some good power points, they take on Lakeshore, the Titans. And Lakeshore right now, you look at I believe they're in the select, or I think non-select. Let me
Number
check.
two, I think, in non-select.
Yes, number 2 in non-select Division 2, and Hahnville is 15. So in Division 1, what a
Mhm.
matchup! Who wins this ball game?
Hahnville needs to win it to secure a home game, it seems like, and a win like this would do that for sure, beating that team. Lakeshore's had a spectacular year, well coached. I'm going with Lakeshore here to win this game. It's going to be a good one, but I feel like Lakeshore gets one of those separation scores in the fourth quarter. I think they win by 10. Give me the Titans at home.
Lakeshore wins that one. They could ice the 2 seed going
Maybe
forward.
one.
Well, North Dakota is still right there, but they
True.
could. It could be a good possibility. You might be right, Jay. You might be right, George. Could be a good possibility. We'll see. I think North Dakota will say, but it could be a great possibility. Will
Hmm.
say Lakeshore might get there if they win. I think this game is real, real close. Lakeshore is a really, really good team that's going to give a lot of problems in the playoffs. It should be a very good game. Close, but I'm going to go with the Hahnville Tigers going out there, getting the win. They're very battle tested. Both teams are battle tested. It's going to be a great ball game. I'm going to go with Hahnville, and there's a possibility that Bell Chase might swoop number 2 because they're right behind them at 3. So we'll see what happens with that. And JB goes with the Hahnville Tigers. Next game on the docket, a district championship battle here, and this is a good one here. Jewel Sumner at a meet. Jewel Sumner at a meet. Jewel Sumner undefeated, looking for their first ever undefeated regular season. A meet looking for another district title. They have won 5 straight. They are starting to come along. George, who gets this one?
Great game. I think this is a defensive struggle here. Points will be hard to come by in this game because Jewel Sumner's defense is that good. A mate's defense has really come of age here over that winning streak. Um, but Jewel Sumner is about to accomplish potentially something they've never done. You just mentioned it, to have an undefeated regular season. What a draw they got, though. Zephaniah Powell's team has really got momentum. Uh, but I think I'm a fan of Jewel Sumner. I like what they have done this year. It's a team I'm looking forward to see what kind of a playoff run they have. Got to the quarters last year before Bunky put them out, 14-13. Um, Boy, BK, this is a very difficult matchup, just like some of these that we've picked. Uh, I'm gonna go with give me Amy to win a close game. I think winning streaks are important, and A-Mead has been on one. I think the Warriors get it done. Close.
Well, I think this game is close as well. I think Ross Career has done a great job. If you know who Ross Career is, he is the son of David Career that used to coach at a
Kentwood.
meet at a meet, and then his uncle is the other Career. Remember, they were brothers.
Okay.
So it's amazing to hear the story of his family and his transition to coaching. He's done an unbelievable job turning this Joe Sumner program, very consistent program, and for them to having a great season. I think this game is Coach Powell is going to have a ready senior night over at Warrior Stadium. It is going to be an interesting ball game, but I gotta go with the Cowboys to go undefeated and possibly getting the number 2 seed in the playoffs. They're right behind Notre Dame, and they'll finish undefeated 10-0. Great possibility of them possibly getting the number 2 seed. And JB, he goes with me. He goes with Sumner for his pick. Another game here, not really playoff implications, but a big game anyway for possible history. Patrick Taylor at Young Audiences, a huge game Friday afternoon over in Young Audiences there. The thing is on the line here. We know Patrick Taylor's already in the playoffs and finished second in the district. And Pat Taylor is their Division two. They're 15. Young Audiences cannot compete for district or for the playoffs, but they can finish the season undefeated on the year. George, your pick on this game.
You look for proper motivation. If your young audience isn't Dennis Christopher, this is it. A chance to go undefeated. Something obviously it's never been done. Pat Taylor is already in the playoffs. They're playing for a home game at 15. They're not safe in the home game aspect. But I'm going to go with young audiences. I think the Yaks, VK, get it done over Patrick Taylor.
I think this game is close. I think the experience of Pat Taylor can get it done. But I'm going to go with you, George. The way young audiences have been stepping up in this
Yep.
district has been ridiculous. I think Pat Taylor gives them a game. This goes down to the wire. I think the Yaks find a way to get it done and finish undefeated on the season. Give me young audiences. And JB disagrees with the both of us. He's going with Patrick Taylor. Wow.
Well, I'm going to hear it if Pat Taylor wins that game because, I mean, I got a little fan base with those kids. So if they win, VK, he's going to give me some business. So,
Absolutely. Let's go. Let's kind of flip it just a little bit
all
on
right.
this one. Let's go with this game here. And we'll get to a couple of these at the end. West Jeff, John Errett. Friday night, Hawes Memphis. The right way to do it. For the first time in a long time, these two teams face each other on a Friday night, week 10. Who you got, George?
Uh, both teams have had disappointing seasons, obviously. John Ehret really had a miserable start, but they've pulled off a couple of wins here in a row, beating East Jefferson 2 weeks ago in a game we did on the Hash Down Show Game of the Week, then following it up with a shutout. I was going to say pitching a shutout last week against Higgins, 21-0. West Jeff, the only district win they got was East Jeff. And they got absolutely demolished by Bonneville last week. I'm going to go with the Patriots, VK. There's no world where you're going to get me to pick West Jeff to beat my alma mater. That's my biggest rival. You cannot get me to pick West Jeff. I'm picking John Ehret. Go Pats.
Uh, Rivalry is always a rivalry,
It is.
but I think John Everett is going to be a little bit too much for West Jeff. Give me the Patriots. JB goes with the Patriots as well. Let's go down to Lafayette, Louisiana. Cajun country, a big one for the district championship, or possibly three-way tie if this happens. Karen Crow at Acadiana. If Acadiana wins, they're the outright district champs. If Karen Crow wins the ball game, it will be a three-way tie. Your pick, George.
My pick is the team that has won a bunch here in the last almost 2 months. Acadiana, the Wrecking Rams have figured it out after a very bad start. They've really come together, VK. Give me the Wrecking Rams to knock off Karen Crow to win that game.
I really thought it would be Karen Crow's time, but
Not
after
yet.
what I seen last week, wow,
Yeah, they got punished last week.
wow, wow. I really
Was it
thought that this
70
is it.
points?
Yes, I really thought this could be Karen Crow's time. I thought it would be close against Southside and pull it out, but the way they got handled at home in the Crow Dome, I have never seen Karen Crow got handled like that at home. Give me the Rams of Acadiana winning the district again. Close game, but I'm going with the Wrecking Rams. And JB goes with the Wrecking Rams. Let's go to North Louisiana. We got three big ones. Let's go up to Shreveport. Parkway at Evangel. Who you got, George? District
Heck of a
championship.
game. I know. Parkway has really just, like I said earlier, they've really trudged along and done some impressive work this year, guys. VK. Um, but in a game like this, with the stakes being what they are, I gotta take the team with the quarterback that makes the more plays. Give me Peyton Houston and Evangel to bounce back after that disappointing loss to Lafayette Christian. I'm gonna go Evangel.
Both teams have been improved on defense. Both teams tremendously
Yes.
improved on defense. What we have seen the last couple of weeks. It could be, and I wouldn't take the over in this game. Might you can go under 31 because this is going to be that good of a game and that good of a war. Westgate, I think I'm sorry.
Parkway.
Parkway has a great chance. Parkway has a great chance of pulling this off. Cole Brotherton has done a great job with this program. He's built it to where it is now. It'll be the first time in a long time since a former quarterback at LSU that came from Parkway was undefeated. That was the last time they was undefeated. My goodness. So expect this to be close, but I'm going to take Pop Houston and Evangel. George and JB goes with the Eagles of Evangel. He agrees with us on that one. The next game, we go further up the Ruston. Another game that could decide the district because it's a wild district because four teams have one loss. West Monroe, Ruston. Your pick on that one, George.
That game is at Ruston, you said, VK?
Games at Ruston. Games at Ruston.
All right. West Monroe's had some famous wins this year, in their effort to get back to top of the tier relevancy. Ruston, though, is Ruston. They've trudged along and really just, um, they got hammered last week to Alexandria at home. That was a pretty debilitating loss. It would be so tempting to take the Rebels here. And I'm like right at the throes of doing it. I wonder how Ruston. I know it's a district championship. I get that, but that was a pretty bold salvo Alexandria did to him last week at Ruston. That team doesn't win those kind of road games often. I'm going to go with the Rebels. VK, give me Coach Michael Dizer and West Monroe to pull this thing off.
Ruston is at the number one spot in non-select. West
Hmm.
Monroe is at 7. Close game.
Agree.
And the way it's looking, I want chaos. Give me West Monroe. And JB, he's going with the Ruston Bearcats. Another game in that same district going down up at Neville,
Hmm.
Alexandria, and the Alexandria, the Trojans against the Neville Tigers at Neville. Your pick, George.
VK, this is a team that has really mystified you this year, Neville. There's been times where you've picked them and they've been looked like dead in the water when you pick. I'm sorry, when you picked against them and they looked dead in the water and they came back to win. The STM game comes into question. Then Washington Paris 2 weeks ago. Neville has been hit or miss in regards to trying to finish games. Alexandria is that team, and they fired a massive statement last week at Ruston, winning in such convincing fashion. VK Thomas Bachman is that coach. I'm going Alexandria by 10.
Neville got the win last week at West Monroe.
Exactly. How did they
I
pull that off?
mean, I mean, bro, Neville has just been, you can say, a thorn on my side this year.
Yes, they have.
Because at first, I really thought this Neville team could be the team this year. But we seen some real hills, ups and downs for this team. I think they have a great opportunity against Alexandria. Neville is at the 3 spot. But myself, I'm going to say it again. I want to see chaos. I want to see chaos. Alexandria gets it done. Alexandria over Neville. JB, he's going with Ash. You're going with, and who you went with, George?
Alexandria. So it's a
You
clean
went
sweep.
it's 3 Queen Sleep. We all going Alexandria.
Right.
All right, all right. Now let's come on back to the city of New Orleans. We got 3 big ones we're about to talk about right now. We're gonna get it over with for tonight. First of
Okay.
all, what a tangle web we weave. This district comes down to the East Bank for the second straight year. The Riverdale Rebels against the Bonneville Bruins at Joe Yenny Stadium. Your pick, George.
How about the job Andre Anthony has done this year, VK? How about a shout out for that? I mean, that Bonneville team did some work last week, and yes, it was West Jefferson, and yes, they've struggled, but 54-12, that's almost unheard of from a Bonneville team to do that. Um, I'm a believer in what Coach Anthony has done there, but Coach Longo and Riverdale, it feels like this district has their name on it, and this could be a coronation on Friday night. I'm going to go Riverdale, but I think this is a very airtight football game. Give me Riverdale to win this thing close.
I agree. I think this is an airtight ball game. I think this is going to be just like the East Jeff and Riverdale game last year, coming down to the wire. Riverdale looking to try to win their first ever district championship, especially in that Jefferson Parish district. Bonneville has not won that district since the Mike Villamoret days. It's been a long time coming, and they have a great chance. Close game. I would love to go the other way for Coach Anthony to get it done, but I think the Riverdale Rebels will find a way. Riverdale wins the district championship. JB disagrees. He's going with the Bruins to pull off the district championship.
How many more games do we have, VK? Because I'm going
Two
to say
more,
something.
two more,
Two
and
more.
we're done.
Up until this, that's 23 games picked, 2 to go, right?
Right.
Me and JB have disagreed on 8. If I can get the first 7, it might come down to this Riverdale Bonneville game. And he's going to go against the team he's been championing all year long, Riverdale. And look, I get Bonneville. I 100% would not, I don't blame him. I don't. I think that Bruins team is going to be close.
It's
But
gonna be real
I feel
close.
like Riverdale it feels like they're ticketed for this district
I think, but it's not gonna be easy. I think
at
Riverdale
all.
just does enough.
Yep,
It just does enough. But Bonneville is really gonna really bring the pain this week in this game. This
they
is
sure
gonna be an
will.
unbelievable ball game coming up this week. 2 more left. Here we go. St. Charles Catholic at Archbishop Shaw. Who takes this one? George.
I find it hard to believe that Shaw just looked so out of sorts last week, but credit Chase and that defensive staff for concocting the game plan that they did. But where was the mix on plays for Shaw offensively last week, BK? Not to sound like a harsh critic, but it felt like that they ran a certain scripted set of plays all night long and really didn't challenge Chase. Um, and I think Hank Tierney realizes, hey, wait a minute. It's about to be the playoffs. We've got what everybody wants. They're going to take Wayne Stein's best shot, but Shaw, um, Shaw. Do I pick you guys or not? I mean, I know what my eyes saw last week, and you know what? The heck with it. I'm going the roadside. VK, give me St. Charles.
Understandable. St. Charles is the 1 seed in Division Two
Yep,
Select, and Shaw is number 6. Yeah, St. Charles win the outright champs. If Shaw wins, it'll be a 3-way tie for the
yep.
district championship. Close ball game. I think Hank Tierney will have his team ready to go, ready to play. But Wayne Stein has really owned up against Shaw. And I think he does it again with this team. Close game, but I'm going with the Comets to win the district championship and ice that number 1 seed. JB, ladies and gentlemen, especially Shaw fans and Shaw alumni, JB goes with the Comets this week. He's going with
I'm
St.
shocked.
Charles.
I so thought he was going to homer it. But you know what? I give him credit.
He's gonna go with
Objectivity is
St.
a good
Charles.
thing. I get it, VK, but that's home. I for sure thought he would just give me a throwaway. And not saying that Shaw can't win, but they just, like I said, they looked out of sorts last week. But again, you credit Chase and the defensive scheme schematically what they did, and they really pushed them around. St. Charles has that same kind of team that can do it. They can grind and
Absolutely.
pound Shaw. They can put the ground game on them and hurt them. But Shaw's offense has to rediscover a little bit of offense. They've got to get some confidence. I'm sorry. They just looked, like I said, they looked out of sorts. And I really thought JB was going Shaw. Oh my goodness, I thought he was going Shaw.
Jason Dewey, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for watching. All y'all people in their little lines, everybody else, thank y'all for watching. Um, I really, this game more than anything else, I think the Comets has a little bit of a better offense than Chase, but at the same time, the defense is really, really good. I think Shaw's gonna be ready. I think Hank Ten is gonna have them prepared. They're gonna be motivated for a quarter game, but I think the Comets get it done. So, all right, last game of the night. Before we close it out, we've been out here a little bit too long, but we're gonna have this last game here.
Finish strong.
The Purple Knights of St. Augustine goes to the Shrine at Airline on a Friday, taking on the John Curtis Patriots. They're both number 5 and number 6 in the power rankings. George, who gets this done, who wins this game, will get a big boost and possibly top 4 or 3 going into Sunday.
You know, the question I'll ask you, did all get caught looking ahead to this game with the way they played Holy Cross last week? Maybe.
I could, I could definitely say there was a reason why I put St. Aug where they were. They did not
Okay.
play like they were number 2 because I
Not
think
at
me and
all.
JB talked about it, and the thing is, I get where JB is coming from, but JB kind of understood where I was coming from. I'm like, give a lot of credit to Holy Cross. They played really hard,
They did.
but I seen some mistakes St. Aug made, and it was uncharacteristic that you ain't see all year. And it's something you can't do against Curtis. That that's a type of team that can take the lead, and you might can't get it back.
Yeah, your get back is gone if you let them get in front of you. But Aug has the offensive propensity to make up deficits. I don't think that's going to be the case here, though. I think Coach Valdez is going to clean things up this week. I think Vashawn Coulon has a big game coming back this week, and St. Aug makes the right statement coming into the state playoffs. Give me the Purple Knights, VK, and I think this will be one of the best games in the state. Period. Give me Aug.
Can't forget about our game.
Oh no, not at all.
See,
Because
our
that's a
game.
district championship too.
Yeah, what we got. It's the best game of the night. That right there is
Yeah,
number 2.
you're learning well,
St.
sir.
Aug and Curtis is number 2.
You're exactly. You're learning well, sir. But
Absolutely,
who you got?
absolutely. I got this a close ball game early. I think JT Curtis, and that team is going to be ready to go. They're going to present problems to the Purple Knights, but I think the Purple Knights settle down and they handle business in the second half. I got the Purple Knights finishing strong, 8-1, going
Got one.
to the playoffs. and I mean a good 4, maybe 3 seed. Purple Knights with the win. And
And
JB sweeps it for the three of us. He takes the Purple Knights as well. That is a wrap for tonight here on the Hash It Out Show. We thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. JB will be back tomorrow for our Hash It Out Show game of the week, but also he'll be back on Sunday as well. But here's our lineup for this week. We have the Hash It Out Show Thursday night game of the week tomorrow, 6:15. Pregame, 6:30 is the kickoff. We have Thomas Jefferson and Fisher from Hoss Mensah Stadium. So please join us for that ball game there. And it's a playoff implication for Thomas Jefferson and Fisher trying to be the spoilers. We will see what happens in that game tomorrow night. Tune in for that one. Friday night, Hash It Out Show Friday night game of the week. The District 10 2A Championship between Isidore Newman and South Plaquemines from Hurricane Stadium in Burris. We will have the pregame at 6:45. The kickoff 7 p.m. Both games on JB the Sports Guys YouTube page. That's JB the Sports Guys YouTube page. Tune in on Thursday, Friday night. On Sunday, here's your lineup for our playoff specials. The boot breakdown. All three of them, well, two of the three you'll be able to see on JB the Sports Guy. At 1 p.m., it'll be a special edition of the boot breakdown, breaking down the LHSA playoffs at 1 o'clock. 4 o'clock, it will be the Hash It Out Show playoff special. We will come on at 4 p.m. on JB the Sports Guys YouTube page. We'll be on live for that one and for the boot breakdown at 1 o'clock. Boot breakdown at 1, 4 o'clock is the Hash It Out Show. And catch Under the Lights on their YouTube page. No, I'm sorry. Catch Under the Lights on their Facebook page.
yes,
Under the Lights Facebook page on their playoff special, which will be at 6. They'll be at 6 o'clock on Sunday. Jordan Taylor and his crew will close out the playoff Sunday. So the playoff Sunday will kick off with Nick Campbell, Jordan Taylor, and JB the Sports Guy 1 o'clock with the boot breakdown. Then you'll have us at the Hash It Out Show at 4 p.m. And then go to Facebook for Under the Lights for their playoff special at 6 p.m. So that's your lineup for this week. That is it for tonight. George Pepper's final words.
man, a lot of football this weekend once again, right? I mean, man, we got some money grabber games this weekend in the world of high school football. A lot of big implications. Some playoff brackets could get changed. Some seeds could really flip on their ear. And then, of course, you got Sunday. So the heck with the Saints, right? Just fooling around with that one, just being crazy. But you've got a plethora of specials. We will get you ready for the playoffs, the 2025 prep playoffs, like no other. And with the entities, with the boot breakdown, as you mentioned, they lead it off. We go second, and Under the Lights finishes it up. You will get a plethora of previews, plenty of different perspectives. Looking forward to that. Uh, and of course, again, another full loaded weekend of football. Speaking, the All Curtis game is Saturday or Friday?
It's a Friday. Friday at the Shrine.
Oh, got it.
Carr and Rommel is Thursday night at the
I
Shrine.
got you. I was gonna. If that was Saturday, I was gonna see if you wanted to make that trip to
I,
Zephyr, but it's on
I
Friday.
It's a Friday. I actually got something going on Saturday. That's why we got the
I
Thursday
got you.
game, and we got the
But yeah, I mean, what else is there to guys? Look, tomorrow night, Thomas Jefferson, Fisher, Columbus. Going to be an interesting game. Friday night, Plaquemines and Newman. Looking forward to that trip. They always do a great job with us with South Plaque too. They do a yeoman's work and really take care of us down there too. The waistline might suffer on Friday night though. Just throwing that out there, Coach. You know that's gonna.
Coach Lau is gonna have us ready, bro.
It'll be
He's gonna have us
we
ready.
ready to, but we got to be
What?
ready to deliver top notch broadcasting. We're gonna be
Oh, we
fine.
we will. We're just talking off the air.
That we will. But
Yeah,
like I said, a lot of brackets, a lot of seeds can change on their ear this week, and a lot of
absolutely.
important matchups. This is going to be one of the more dramatic weeks in the state of Louisiana, come prep football wise. And and whatnot. I am so looking forward to being a part of it, an integral part of it. VK, it's going to be fun stuff. And with that, close us out, brother.
Yes, sir. JB will be back, like we mentioned, tomorrow. He was on assignment tonight, but thank y'all for joining us tonight. Man, pack the stadiums out this week, man. This is a critical week of the season. This is the
Yes.
finale of the regular season. Go and support your teams. Don't act a fool. Have a great time at these games. Win or lose, support these kids and these communities. We definitely appreciate it. Tune in Thursday night and Friday night. It's going to be some huge ones. Like, tag, share, subscribe to the Hash Now Show, also social media platforms, including JB the Sports Guy on your YouTube. Hit the notifications, hit the likes. We definitely appreciate all your support. For George Peppers, for Jared JB Boyd on VK Jones, this has been a presentation of the Hash Now Show. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow in the West Bank.
Hope y'all didn't leave, people. JB here. Hey, just want to let y'all know. Right quick. George Peppers is not going to beat me in the picks. I will be three-peat champ. Three-peat champ. Three-peat. Ain't no way George Peppers catches me in the picks. Not at all. Ain't happening. George Peppers will not beat me in the picks. Ladies and gentlemen, okay? VK Jones might get second place, y'all. VK Jones might pass with George Peppers come. Well, we ain't got no Saturday games, but we gonna know Friday who wins. I mean, I already know I won. But VK Jones probably gonna get that second place, y'all. Just let y'all know. VK Jones, second place, not in last place this time. Oh man, what the world has come to if that happened. I'm just saying. I see George Peppers going crap on himself if he loses to VK Jones, man. Boy. Man, I'm just saying now. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I had somewhere to be. I'm just getting back here. I was actually running all this from my phone where I was at to make this happen for you all to see. So just thank y'all for tuning in. I see you, VK. I see you, man. How is your head wider with your headphones on? It ain't supposed to work, man. Headphones look wider than your head. Your head still look wider with the headphones on, VK. I don't know how that works. But anyway, let me stop messing with VK. Y'all take care. I'm about to sign out. VK, I'll holler at you later. So thank y'all for tuning in. See that ring? All I do is win championships, baby. See that? World champ. Yeah, that's all I do. Take care, y'all. D-boy, stop talking all that mess, man.